You're listening to This Is My Side Hustle. The tips, tools, and advice you need to optimize your life live here. If you're looking to unlock the secrets to additional income by engineering your choices around your ideal lifestyle, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and join us as we unpack unconventional ideas and methods to give you more freedom and flexibility. Let's escape the rat race together and live with intention. Let's learn how others are making it pay with their side hustles. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 26 of This Is My Side Hustle. Today I want to talk a little bit about ways to recover from loss of income. Now, a lot of times if people lose a job, or even if they're a consultant or a freelancer and they lose a client, this can significantly impact their way of living. Hopefully you have a decent cushion, but sometimes it still makes a big impact on how you're going to live. And I wanted to come up with some ways for people to supplement their income while they're either looking for a new job or make things less expensive in your own life, or even while you're between clients if you're a virtual assistant, for example. So let's get started with the first thing that's the easiest to do, which is to cut spending. Basically, you need to look at all of your expenditures and figure out what's really unnecessary here. What can you do to cut the fat? A few examples that come to mind are eating out, or going to the movies, or any kind of shopping for things that's absolutely not necessary. You can probably find many examples in your own spending history of things that you purchased that you really didn't need, or little things here and there, daily expenditures that really add up to a lot of money over a month. So let's say, you've lost a $500 a month client and you need to come up with $500. The first thing to do is to start figuring out where can you stop spending $500 a month. That's really the easiest thing you can do as far as making up for that lost income. The next thing you'll want to do is to review and reallocate your budget. Now, you should have a budget already. If you don't, you're really going to need one now. So you need to look at all of your monthly bills that are absolutely necessary, such as your mortgage, your utilities, anything else. If you have car payments, you could consider selling your car and getting something cheaper. But if you're upside down in your car payments, meaning that your car is not even as worth as much as you owe, then that's going to kind of be a problem. So definitely sit down, write out all of your expenses, look at your bank statements, look at your credit card statements, figure out where all the money's going, and then sit down, figure out how much you have coming in, and reallocate if need be. If you were regularly saving money and putting it into your savings, I would cut that down, obviously, if you can, just for a little bit. If you can't find anything else to cut out or to reallocate, I would not suggest stopping saving for retirement, though, unless it's an emergency. Definitely don't borrow from your retirement. But if you can help not taking money that's going in monthly to your retirement, try to do that. Also, if you're saving a lot towards retirement, automatic payments, let's say to your 401k that come out of your paycheck, you could perhaps lower it a bit for just a bit of time, but then as soon as you get back on your feet, put it back in there. These are some options that you might want to consider. Another thing you could do is to use skills at your job to start freelancing. So if you work as a marketer, you might be able to start freelance marketing on the side. You could market yourself as a virtual assistant or a social media manager and set it up so that you can do things when you're not at your actual job. If you are already a freelancer and you've lost a client, you can look at maybe what your most skillful skill is, or skillful skill, your most profitable skill is possibly, and try to really market that or reach out to people, cold call, email people, message them on social media, people that would maybe be your ideal client, people you would want to work with, offer your services that way. It might not take a lot of time to really get the ball rolling with something like that, but always look at the skills you have that could be marketable and maybe reimagine another way of using them for income. One of your recurring but necessary expenses is most likely homeowners and car insurance. I used to shop around every 6 to 12 months to find cheaper rates on my insurance policies. The time it took me was unacceptable. I would spend hours emailing, calling. I would usually get it down, but then I thought, is this really worth my time? Then I heard about Gabi. You shouldn't have to worry about insurance. And with Gabi, now you don't have to. They do all of the shopping for you. You just send them your current insurance as a PDF or even just a picture of it. Let them compare up to 20 quotes, and then you save if you buy the cheaper policy directly from Gabi. Their advisors are standing by if you have any questions, and they compare all of your insurance options to find you the right policy, all in under 2 minutes. No tedious forms to fill out, no cold calls, and they save an average of $720 per year per customer. 9.6 out of 10 people recommend them. And I do too. They saved me $653 this year, and it only took me a few minutes, not the hours and hours I was spending before. If you want to use Gabi to shop around and reduce your insurance rates, go to makingitpaytostay.com/Gabi. That's Gabi. That's makingitpaytostay.com/Gabi. Gabi. You could also get a part-time job. This kind of goes in with using the skills you already have. If you're able to get just a part-time job, even if it's not ideal, while you're looking for something more income producing, use the skills that you already have to do that as well, or any kind of experience you already have. There's so many different things you could do. Even if you don't get a salaried position or an hourly position as an employee, you can do things like clean houses or babysit kids or walk dogs. There's so many different things. I'm sure if you've listened to any of my previous episodes, you can get tons of ideas on things that you could maybe do even part-time, even if it's not going to be your main source of income, to bring in a little extra more. The next thing you can do is contact past and present clients and bosses and coworkers and ask them if they know about anything. So even if you're not able to get an old job back or get an old client back, you could reach out to different people that are already in your network. Even if you haven't spoken to them for a while, reach out to them on social media or LinkedIn or something like that and just say, hey, I'm looking to fill my time with some extra work. Do you know of anything? Do you know of anyone who's hiring? Do you know of anyone who needs any kind of help of something that you've done before? That's a good way to just tap into people you already know to expand your options for getting more income. Most people are very willing to do that or help you out if anything comes to mind. So don't be afraid to go ahead and reach out to people. The next thing you can do, and I talk a lot about this on previous episodes of this podcast, is to sell things. There's a million things probably sitting in your house. Well, maybe not a million, but I bet you could find at least several dozen things in your house that you're not using that you could sell, whether it's clothing on Poshmark or home decor type items or small kitchen appliances you could put on eBay, or even furniture that you're not really using, or a spare bedroom full of a bedroom set that never sees anybody staying there, you could put that on Craigslist. Just go through your whole entire house, your garage, your shed, if you have one, anything you can think of, and try to sell. Obviously, like I said earlier in this episode, if you can sell your car and get a cheaper one, if you can no longer afford it, try to do that. Even if it's temporary, even if cars are your thing, it's not going to be a big deal. You really just need something to get you from point A to point B. And if you're in a position where you're stressed about money and it's really tight, that is an option that you can look into doing. The next thing you can do is up-level your skills on your most profitable side hustle. So if you have a side hustle already, let's say, I'll just say podcasting for an example. I could, if I wanted to, push out more podcasts. You can get revenue from podcasts through affiliate links, through sponsors, through ads, different things like that. I could do that if I was in a position where I needed to bring in more income. I could produce more frequent podcasts and possibly more resources that I know my listeners would appreciate, and tell them all the benefits of it, and then hope that if they were in need of something like that would actually help them or solve one of their problems, that they would use my link or my resource. So that's something I could do. Another thing would be in my virtual assistant business. If I needed to charge more or specialize in something that I kind of know how to do, but I'm not really great at, I could take a cheap course on Udemy, or I could get a free 1-month premium subscription to LinkedIn and use all of their resources on Lynda, and I could learn something new or learn something else that I could add to my repertoire of services. So that's another way you can try to figure out how you can leverage what you already know a little bit, or even learn a completely new skill in a really short amount of time and then start charging for it. Another thing you could do is write reviews for money. I just did in episode 25, I just did a whole podcast on different ways you can write reviews for income. You could easily get a couple $100s a month if you follow all of those and take them up on their opportunities that arise every day. So that's another way you could at least supplement your income for a little bit, and that really doesn't take any kind of skill sets whatsoever. It's pretty much you just get a product, review it, or you just review something you've used before and get paid for it, or give opinions. So that's definitely another option you could do if you need to come up with more income. The next thing you could do, and this might sound ridiculous and silly, but I think you'd be surprised when I mention it. Drink only water and have 2 days of no meat. That will significantly cut down on your grocery bill. Now, obviously, I already said stop going out to eat because that's really unnecessary expenses. But, other unnecessary expenses are also drinks that you pay for, even if they're things you buy at the grocery store and you drink at home. So soft drinks for sure cut out. You could start getting a cheaper brand of coffee if you still had to have coffee, or start drinking tea and buy it at the dollar store. There's a lot of things you could do, or just drink water. If you cut out alcohol, again, that's going to significantly cut down on your expenses, and that's just not really a big deal. It's not a big thing to cut out, and it's always good to drink more water anyway. So it's kind of a win-win. And having 2 meatless days of the week is also a good idea and a way to cut down on expenses. Meat's usually one of the most expensive things that you buy at the grocery store, and 2 days a week is not going to hurt. In fact, cutting meat out altogether, or even most proteins once a week or even twice a week, actually makes your body more sensitive to it when you reintroduce it. So I would suggest not doing any kind of heavy workouts the days you don't have protein, but then the next day reintroduce it and have a good workout, and your body will actually respond more favorably to the protein and put it more in the muscles where it needs to go. And 1 or 2 days a week of not eating high protein or meat at all is definitely not going to hurt you in the long run, and it's going to cut down a lot on your grocery bill. That's going to be about 9 days of not eating meat, and if you multiply what you'd normally eat during the week or a normal day of meat multiplied by 9, it's not a huge amount, but if you pair it with the only drinking water tip, it will make a little bit of an impact, and it's not a huge sacrifice. So I'm not trying to make your life miserable. I could come up with way more severe ways of cutting expenses, but I'm trying to give you some easy ones that you can just sneak in as well, even if you just want to cut your spending in general and you don't need to make up for lost income. These are some tips that you can do. Okay, the next one is to eliminate debts that you're paying on. So what I mean by that is if you have a debt like a credit card bill that you haven't paid the balance off on, and let's say the minimum payment is $100 a month or $50 a month or whatever, if you have a bit of emergency savings, I would suggest that you tap into that to pay off that debt if there's an interest rate on it, mainly because it's going to take you forever to pay off. You might never pay it off if you're only paying the minimum and you have a high interest rate, depending on your balance. But if you can cover even just a small thing, then you won't have to come up with that money every month in the future. So there are certain things, if you do have an emergency fund, that I do think that you should pay attention to. I don't think your emergency fund should ever be less than $2,000. But if you have a 3 to 6 month emergency fund set aside and you don't want to use it for living expenses, then go ahead and put that on any kind of debt. I would assume, though, that most people, if they're listening to this and they have a fully funded 3 to 6 month emergency fund, that they probably don't have any kind of major unpaid debt with a high interest rate. But if you do, take a look at that. Now, there are some resources I wanted to mention that's related to all of these tips. The first one is my 52 tweaks a week to save thousands in just a year. You can get that, and what it is it's an instant PDF that you can download with 52 ways to cut expenses. And you'll also receive a weekly email from whenever you sign up for an entire year of each tip in depth. So if you want to get that for free, you can go to makingitpaytostay.com/save and sign up for that. And then I suggest when you get to the end of that year, when you get to week 52, you go back and you sign up again with, a different email account, or just email me and let me know and I'll resend it to you. So you can email me at sherry@makingitpaylifestyle.com. if you've already signed up and you only have one email address, or use a different email address. That way you can continue the cycle of having it fresh in your mind of different ways you can cut your spending. And I know that I signed up for it myself just because I liked the tips, and I do most of them already, but I can't remember what the first couple of weeks tips were now. It's been a while. I don't remember if I'm still doing them or if I need to be reminded of them. So I'm going to do the same thing. I like getting weekly reminders of different ways I can save money. Another thing you can check on if you don't already have a side hustle or any skills that you can think of that are marketable in any kind of way online or anywhere around you, and you need to increase your income, you can go to Craigslist and look on the gigs section. There's often people who are looking for either continual part-time work or just a one-off thing for a weekend, make $150. There's all kinds of different things you can do. Cleaning houses, like I mentioned. Sometimes they have things for people to write articles. Sometimes they have things for people to move a couch for them and they'll pay you $50 or what have you, or help clean out a rental property that they have or something like that. There's always things coming up on there that if you needed extra income, you could do. You can also post on Craigslist if you come up with any ideas. Let's say you want to start walking dogs. Put a post on Craigslist under services saying that you do walking services, dog walking services, and when you're available and the areas you're available, and put it on social media. Let your friends and family know. Post in local groups on Facebook. There's so many different ways that you can try to think outside the box to increase your income. There's so many ways that you can find a way to sell things. I obviously don't recommend if you're already hurting on cash flow and you need to increase your income. I don't recommend going out to thrift stores and buying a bunch of stuff to try to flip it. The problem with that is sometimes it takes a while for things to sell, and you don't need to be spending money on unnecessary things before, you've got an income coming in. So definitely keep in mind that you want to first start producing income without incurring any kind of expenses. This is not the time to start a business. This is the time to start offering services that have zero startup costs, because you don't know how long you're going to be in this position if you've recently lost income, and you don't want to have yet another expense that you need to be facing while you're hoping that it's going to make money, because it's kind of a crapshoot if your business is going to make money. And often it takes a long time to really get on your feet and start producing income from something when you're learning something new or starting a new business. It takes a lot of time to get traction and for people to hear about you. So first, just do basic things that you can do without officially starting a business. And then, hey, if some of those things work out and you really like them and they're producing a lot of income for you, then once you've got the ball rolling, once you've got more than enough income you need coming in, then you can think about actually setting up the business and incurring expenses and things like that. Once you feel a little more established and settled, then you do that. I think that's all I have for you guys today. I am very much enjoying my twice a month or every other week, I guess I should say, podcasting schedule. I don't have any kind of new updates about anything else. Oh, I am going to open up my Making It Pay lifestyle course for a significantly reduced cost soon. And I'm not going to have a limited enrollment time. I'm going to leave it open all the time. The reason I'm doing this is I created that course 2 years ago now. Yes, 2 years ago now, I believe. And I charged a lot of money for it, but included with that course was live weekly coaching calls. And I believe there are 4 or 5 months of live coaching calls. So anytime any of the students had questions, or I wanted to add anything to the content of the course, I would get on Facebook and I would do live coaching calls for them. And I have included those in the course. So you'll get 20 modules in the course, all about how to start online businesses working from home, all the steps you need to take to do it, and all of the coaching calls and all of the bonuses, which were a ton of things and worth a ton of money. It's all going to be included at a ridiculously low cost. And I wasn't going to do it. I was going to reopen it with the limited time enrollment for a week and have it at the same price. But I decided that most of the people who need the information the most can't afford that. Most of the people who need that are struggling already, or they really do need to produce income from home, or they're in a really bad spot and they don't have the money to spend that I was originally asking. So definitely pay attention to probably the next episode when I officially open it for good. You won't have to set a time to enroll by. It's going to be open enrollment. It's self-paced, but I'm not going to be doing live coaching calls anymore. That was probably the most after, of course, the initial completion of the course and setting it all up and recording the videos and doing it all, that was the most time-consuming area of the course for me, was prepping for coaching calls and then spending the time on the coaching calls and then archiving them and saving the videos and everything. So I'm not going to be doing that this time around because, well, number one, it's going to be so cheap now. And number two, I don't want to spend the time to do that. My only free day right now is Sunday. I'm busy pretty much every other day of the week with either work stuff or house stuff or family stuff and obligations and things like that, just like you all are. We're all busy. And I'm also trying to maintain margin in my life, which I talked about last episode, I believe. And I'm really enjoying that. And it's just improved my quality of life so much more. I don't really get stressed about anything anymore. And it's amazing what just having some extra buffer in your life will do to your sense of well-being and peace and stress levels and happiness in general. So I'd like to keep it that way. I will not be doing coaching calls for this. It'll all be self-paced. You don't have to show up for anything for coaching calls. You don't have to contact me about anything unless, of course, you see like a link not working in the course or a problem or something. Let me know. But I will be opening that up soon. I will let you all know in the next episode where you can sign up for that, where you can find it. It will be less than $100. I'm trying to make it affordable. I don't want to redo the course because I feel like most of the stuff in that course is pretty evergreen. You can learn all the skills you're going to need to launch your own online business. And I don't want to push anybody through it. I want people to be able to take their time. I want them to be able to go back and revisit things if need be. But yeah, definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll be posting about it on social media as well. So on Instagram at Making It Pay Lifestyle, on Facebook, facebook.com/makingitpay. I will probably link to it on my website, open up a new link at the top of my website for you to enroll whenever you want. And I feel like this is a good time of year to do something like that. We're not quite into the busyness of the holiday season yet. Kids are well established in their routines, going back to school if you have kids. It's starting to get cooler. People aren't going outside as much if it's chilly or rainy. The days are going to be getting shorter and shorter, and it'll give you something to do to help even open up a brand new opportunity for your own business or increase your income, something like that. So I'm hoping I'll be able to reach more people and help more people. And that's kind of the goal of this podcast and everything I do. I mean, obviously I make some money from these things, but you know, if you want to make money, the best thing you do is you help people. You don't just sell. You help. You help. And if you help enough people, then you will be successful. It just comes with the territory. I think Zig Ziglar said something like that, but the quote has left my mind at the moment, so I apologize. But that's basically what he had to say. Help more people, and you will be successful. You will make money. So hopefully this all helped you guys out. I really love the reviews and ratings I'm getting on iTunes. So please, if you haven't yet done so, that helps me show up in the algorithms of iTunes. You can please leave me a review and subscribe and a rating, and follow me on the social media profiles I just mentioned, and feel free to say hey. And if you want to be a guest on the show, or if you want to leave me a comment or ask a question or anything like that, you can go to makingitpaytostay.com/voicemail, and you can either type me something or send me a voicemail message or apply to be on the show there. All right, guys, until next time, this is my side hustle.